When government came into place, Mr. Speaker, we started by removing subsidies and saying that this will assist Kenyans now to move on as a country. Mr. Speaker, we came in, we decided to ensure that the first finance bill, we had so many issues. We thought this second finance bill, Mr. Speaker, will be a finance bill that brings Kenyans together. And today, what the government has done to us, the Economic Council decided to put Kenya again into crossroads, to make us fight for nothing. And then after that, then you come and now start saying we shall be having amendments. Yet this is something we would have just thought from the beginning, Mr. Speaker, that we don't need a country to go on to a cry and then now come again and tell them that there is an incentive that now we are giving. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the report comes in, and this is an IMF finance bill. This is what they did to Ghana. Mr. Speaker, you remember very well when Kibaki came into government, he was a finance minister, but he decided to be a liberal economist. He decided to look east. It is so sad that while my president thinks he will build any road in this country, that he will do any infrastructure in this country, with IMF on his neck, this will not happen on this term. Not on this term. He will be there to do the deficits of what they are telling him, but in terms of building Kenya, we shall see the worst that we have never seen. Mr. Speaker, the bill then comes in and tells us you want to restore policy on debt, sustainability, whatever. But then you forget that you are the same person who is saying you need everything on items. Fine, you have said you have reduced it for Mama Mboga, I don't know for who. But you are forgetting the same person who can do business beyond 2 million is the same person you have just returned into the challenges we are saying. Try to build an economic base for Kenyans to have this thing we are calling that there is economic growth. Then you come and tell me you have now reduced to the local manufacturers. Who are the deaf kids and the who's and who's? One person monopolizing this country, that he's the only one who can bring clinker, he's the only one who can do cement, he's the only one, yet you want to say, today we cannot bring back Portland, today we cannot do this. It is wrong. We only have one man who does pasta in this country. So when you say now you are increasing because people are exporting in spaghettis, they're importing in spaghettis, we only have one local manufacturer who does pasta, who decides at every given time how he raises his prices. So how do you deal with those people? Tell us the numbers of manufacturers we have,
order,
so that Kenyans can know,
order,
Mr.
Elachi.
Speaker.
Yes, Nyakundi, what's your point of order? Give him the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm standing on point of order number 91. Is it in order for the honorable member to say that the president is dictated by IMF on the finance bill, while the president has the mind of his own? It is this house that dictates the finance bill and the orders that we make. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
If you had the mind, we would have gone to the president after we have finished this. So, Mr. Speaker, what we are saying that it is time as Kenyans, we want to take back our power from the World Bank, from IMF, and we are begging so hard that the president must go back and look at the East so that we can finish our roads. You went to the US, you told us you are bringing a road that is headed to Mombasa.
Order, Elachi. The World Bank does not vote in this house. It is you who will vote in this house.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Rindikiri.
Understanding order 91, I expect somebody I respect very much to bring in point of relevance. Mr. Speaker, we are not debating the performance and activities of the president. We are discussing the matters of finance bill, and I expect her as such to react. Mr. Speaker, this is where we are losing it because there are some who are praying for the gallery. We better stop this kind of approach to this finance bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Elachi, the World Bank has no vote in this house. It's you who will vote. So remain relevant.
Mr. Speaker, while I say and what I say is that when you look at all the policies that has eaten the countries of Ghana, countries of Zambia, these are the same policies that they went through when they were handling the IMF. So, Mr. Speaker, it's not about voting, but it is about just asking ourselves, what track have we taken ourselves in? I beg not to support.
Thank you. Come, Kate. Wamau, I don't see you on this screen. Come, Kate.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, from the outset, I want to say that I stand to support the bill. And in supporting this bill, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I fully associate myself with the views and the recommendations of the Committee on Finance and National Planning. The committee, Mr. Speaker, has done a wonderful job in analyzing the bill and in listening to Kenyans. When this bill was published for the first time, Mr. Speaker, I got concerned as every other Kenyan. But I got, Mr. Speaker, I got the confidence, Mr. Speaker, because I know, Mr. Speaker, that Kenya is a working democracy. That the process of legislative, the passing of legislation is a process, Mr. Speaker. That the bill would go to the Committee on Finance and National Planning, that the bill would be subjected to public participation, and that the views of Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, would be collected, and that the committee would come up with the proper recommendations, having listened to the people of Kenya. And the committee has done that, Mr. Speaker. This committee, Mr. Speaker, represents Parliament. The Committee on Finance and National Planning is a committee that is made up of members across the aisle. It is not a committee, Mr. Speaker, of members of one side of the House. And their report, therefore, the report which has no dissenting view, represents the views of this Parliament. And I want to say, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the members, all of them, from both sides of the House, that they have done a good job. I want to, Mr. Speaker, the Treasury is made up of Kenyans, and they are mandated, Mr. Speaker, at every financial year to come up with revenue-raising measures to support the budget. And they are free, Mr. Speaker, to be innovative. Those officers at the Treasury, Mr. Speaker, are free to come up with wild ideas. But that is why Parliament is here. Because the officers at the Treasury, I do not see why the hysteria. Why there was hysteria? Why would a member of Parliament be joining, Mr. Speaker, members of the public in demonstrating in the streets when his opportunity is here? When the opportunity is here now, and then when they are given the chance, Mr. Speaker, they come and speak about revolutions that are non-existent. This is the time to talk about, to debate this bill and to look at the recommendations of the committee as they have made. Mr. Speaker, the governments exist to levy taxes, Mr. Speaker. And it is Parliament's responsibility to check on the executive. And that's exactly what we are doing. Mr. Speaker, you know, when the orange button comes up, Mr. Speaker, and the points are coming, I do not know what is, we begin to panic. Mr. Speaker, let me just say this, Mr. Speaker. This morning, I listened to the leader of minority opposing the bill. But I looked at him, Mr. Speaker, and I could see his opposition to the bill was nothing but hollow, dishonest, and shallow. Because, Mr. Speaker, if the public have given their views, Mr. Speaker, and I challenge, Mr. Speaker,
Your time is up. Your order. Member for Malindi.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mwanzo ningechukua fursa hii Mheshimiwa Spika kuweza kuwashukuru Wakenya. Nimeona wenzangu wengi wamesimama hapa na kusema tushukuru wale watu ama ambao wako katika